Why is this all? Oh, there we are. Oops. We are live. It is Thursday and a day before my birthday, 8/27/2026. I'm about to be 47 years old, Dr. Glidden.
Wow.
Crazy. And
Got
we're
30
here.
years on you, buddy.
How many?
30.
Wow. You're looking, I hope I look as good as you do.
No,
20.
sorry, 20.
20. Yeah, I was going to say.
For some reason, I can't count this summer. I just can't count. I'm having trouble with dates, times, and numbers.
It's a golfing thing. It makes your score look better.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah. All right. So let's catch up with you a little bit because it's been a couple weeks. Uh, what what is your message to start us off with? Or I have lots of questions. Just because I was very intrigued with and inspired and motivated to ask some more deeper questions about some of the stuff I was watching on your website. And there's a lot there, and there's a lot of stuff like there's not a bad video because your method of whatever the topic is, and I could even say to myself like, yeah, that's not really something. If I'm going to prioritize, I got a lot of videos here. Maybe I wouldn't watch that one first. But since I've gone through so many, I went to those next. And the way you build up to that actual topic, you learn so much more along the way
Yeah.
that there's no bad video. You're gonna come away with more information than you thought you would, and it's about more topics and how they interrelate, and it makes your whole understanding of everything so much better.
Yeah, and that's what everybody who's a subscriber should do. They should like watch all of the videos one at a time because and I am in the process. I was hoping it was going to be ready by now, but it's not. But I'm putting together a mini course that's going to have a that's going to stitch together some of the old videos and with some new videos in a systematic process. The intention of which is if somebody watches them all, one after the other, that they will be very grounded in their understanding of this method
Hmm.
because that's the most important thing. And the reason that this is difficult um, is because we've been embedded deeply in the matrix of a medical monopoly for over 100 years. And the incorrect information about health and how the human body works, and drugs and alternative quote unquote medical therapeutics have been completely that the general public has been bombarded with over the last 100 years is all wrong. It's not all wrong. Couldn't be all wrong, but it's mostly wrong.
It comes from all directions too, so everything
Yeah,
supports the same idea. There's no
that's
way you
right.
can look to say, oh wait, that's contradictory. You don't really see that.
And this isn't something like people arguing over who has the best baseball team, or which is the best automobile to buy. This isn't that.
Hmm.
This is cold, hard, scientific, medical facts. The facts, ma'am, just the facts, which people's lives depend on. And the quality of their lives before they die depend on. And their financial status depends on. Because remember, the leading cause of death in the United States is MD directed medical therapeutics, and the leading cause of bankruptcy is MD directed medical therapeutics. And this isn't because medical doctors are, bad people and that they're trying to steal your money and kill you. It's because the system of medicine that they are trained in is incorrect. It's only good for trauma care and surgery when it's absolutely necessary, and that's its wheelhouse. And they're really good at that. Well, they're not really good at that, but they're good at that. And they save lives all the time. Military field surgery, the complications of childbirth, got a bullet in your arm, got a third-degree burn, got a bleeding artery because you broke your leg skiing in Vail, right, and hit a tree. Um, this is what they're good for.
They didn't save Sonny Bono.
Yeah. But for most of the conditions that most people go to the doctor for most of the time, it's a failed methodology. But because of a medical monopoly, which has been in place for longer than anybody's been alive, the failures go, there are no consequences to the failures. No consequences. Nobody goes to jail. The patient dies. The patient goes bankrupt. And the socialization is so complete here that, somebody gets cancer, for instance, while they're under the care of the medical doctor. The cancer treatment that is delivered is non-curative. It makes the patient worse, and then they die ultimately from cancer. And the relatives of the cancer victim are so grief-stricken that they organize a 5K run, and they raise 20 grand, and they give it to the medical profession who failed them. And this is how deep the socialization is. And this is the reason that I am alive, apparently, is to help people pop out of this matrix. And I'm pretty good at it. And, there's a saying in naturopathic medicine that the halls of conventional medicine, allopathic medicine, are littered with the discarded remains of outdated, ridiculous therapeutics, like bloodletting, right? Phrenology, massive doses of mercury, which was called calomel back in the day, and purgatives. But in naturopathic medicine, our hallways are clean because we don't discard anything. We add things as we learn new things which are consistent with natural law. But some of those videos that are on my website, I recorded them 10 years ago.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And I don't need to change them because the information is solid, and it hasn't, it's good. And it doesn't need to be changed because it's good. Why is it good? Because it's based on natural law. So the whole thing is interesting, and everybody in the world honestly needs to know about it. And that's my mission moving forward, is to get as many people into this boat and exposed to this message as possible. Because honest to God, man, in let me see, in 1 week, I will have been doing this for 38 years. 38 years I've been doing this clinically.
It's a lot of experience.
Yeah. And the one thing that I have learned, the biggest thing that I've learned in 38 years, is that most people are suffering needlessly.
Mm.
That they're suffering needlessly. And the reason that they're suffering with a mental, physical, or emotional condition is because the conventional medical doctors are clueless about what causes it, and they're clueless about what to do to cure it. And this is, I think, the biggest revelation that happens with most people, is that, what do you mean my medical doctor doesn't know how to cure it? Well, they don't. They're not trained in curative medical therapeutics. They're not. And this is a big come to Jesus moment for most people. And like I said, most of the information that I put forth in all my social media stuff and the stuff on my website, it's not a Dr. Glidden thing. It's a naturopathic medicine, a homeopathic medicine thing that's filtered through, my lens. So I'm a very good articulator of these medical concepts. And a couple of them came from me specifically based on my experience, but most of it, and like 98% of my information, it's not me. It's the stuff that, 400 years of naturopathic medicine has taught me. So it's like that. And everybody needs to know what myself and my colleagues know. And very few people do. And more's the pity.
Yeah. People they're born into something, and through their life, they're conditioned to have very low expectations because they don't see successes. They don't
That's
see
right.
a different thing. And the standard of care is substandard. It's in the garter.
Yeah,
And
that's right.
if your expectations are down here, any little thing that they do is wonderful.
Right. It's medical mediocrity.
Yeah.
Right. It's medical mediocrity. And the only thing that keeps it going is the monopoly. It's medical mediocrity inside of a monopoly. That should be, Crazy Al Yankovic's next song, right?
Yeah.
But that's the way that it is. And Macklemore was right. My doctor's a drug dealer, a drug dealer, a drug dealer. He said that he'd cure me, but he only gave me problems. He gave me problems. He's absolutely right. Thank God for lidocaine. Thank God for general anesthesia. but it's not the drug, it's how it's used. The way that medical doctors are trained to use drugs is criminal, in my opinion. And we desperately need medical freedom. We need equal access to all systems of medicine. All systems of medicine need to be covered by medical insurance, or medical insurance needs to be gotten rid of completely.
Yeah, that's a big red herring right there. Or I don't. That's the wrong term, but like a red flag, I guess.
Yeah, I mean it's just a money grab. Medical insurance, like any other type of insurance.
It gives people the mindset that if insurance isn't covering it, then it must not be valid,
Yeah,
right?
that's right.
It's not real medicine. If it's why
Yeah.
would the insurance cover it? Are they afraid of liabilities?
Yeah.
Like it's all in their head when they think about that, but it's all backward.
And because of poor leadership from the top in naturopathic medicine, there are a number of states where my profession is licensed and insurance does pay for it.
Oh, is that right? That's cool.
Yeah, but they don't pay what's they don't like the initial visit. If I treat somebody in a private consultation, the first visit's 3 hours.
Right.
But medical insurance is only going to pay for 15 minutes. It's like that. And the medical insurance doesn't pay for the nutritional supplements, doesn't pay for the homeopathics, doesn't pay for the botanical medicine, doesn't pay for it.
That was the next question I was going to ask. I was like, can you write a prescription for, the 90 essential nutrients? You probably couldn't, right?
Can't do it.
Yeah.
Insurance won't pay for it. And so the whole thing is a giant shell game designed to keep the MDs in the number one position, even though they suck at what they do for most things. And let me tell you something, man. We're talking about two different things here. Number one, and the most important, is the therapeutics, right? That they don't know they can't even cure heartburn, man. They don't know what causes it. They don't have no idea how to cure it. And they don't care that their therapeutics are going to make things worse downstream. They don't care that they're kicking the can down the road. It's the best system of medicine in the world. We went to Harvard, shut up and take your proton pump inhibitor.
They prioritize for you. Do you want the problem that you have right now gone, or do you want to worry about what's going to happen after? It's like, but they're making that decision for you.
Yeah, it's their job to keep you alive while you're in their office.
Right.
So that's one thing. But in addition to just juvenile therapeutics and a juvenile understanding of how the human body works, there's just really bad doctors. Like the wrong diagnosis, right? The wrong diagnostic stuff.
Their faith in the blood tests and the levels at one particular snapshot in time being meaningful, when they tell somebody something detrimental, like, oh, now we got to start chemo. It's like, how do you know that wouldn't be able to clear itself up? Give it some time before you jump into it, right? Maybe it won't be the same the next time you take the test.
I have a patient that I've been treating. She's got AFib. I've been treating her for 2 years, and she's like 80% better. She was in a car crash a couple of weeks ago, and she went to the doctor's office, right? Because she was in a car crash. So it was not a bad idea. The MD's office. And she told the person she had a history of AFib. And the person was listening to her heart, and she said, "You don't have AFib." And the patient said, "Well, I don't have it all the time. It comes and it goes." But the doctor was convinced that she didn't have AFib, and it was just a regular manifestation of how her heart was beating, and the doctor was wrong. And this kind of stuff happens all of the time. And there was some statistics. Somebody did an analysis about a year ago, maybe a year and a half ago. I can't remember exactly what the numbers were, but it was about if one patient goes to Dr. A and gets a diagnosis, and then they go across the street to Dr. B and gets a diagnosis, that I think it's 20-something% of the time, they're going to be two completely different diagnoses. Why is that? Because of bad doctoring.
That reminds me, was it when you were in college that you guys did the thing with the blood tests?
Yeah.
And sent it over to all the different labs? Yeah. And only one lab was honest about it, or, at least doing their actual test. And then they all came out with different answers.
Yeah.
That is incredible. That is
it's crazy. The whole thing is crazy. But what I'm talking about is the actual intellectual incompetence of the doctor, which is separate and distinct from the stupid therapeutics that they're trained in. Is that how did this person ever get to be a doctor? Is what I'm talking about.
Right. Oh, yeah.
And it's more prominent than I ever thought it was. And after doing this for nearly 40 years now, it's like, ladies and gentlemen, the worst thing that you can do for your health is to visit a medical doctor, unless you're bleeding to death or you've had a trauma. Then you should go to the emergency room and have them deal with it, because that's their wheelhouse. But for everything else, you should avoid them wholeheartedly, because they're the wrong dog for the hunt and they're not going to help you. And you should seek out alternatives which are science-based and clinically verified, because they exist. They're hard to find because of the medical monopoly, but the MDs are the wrong dog for the hunt if you're interested in making yourself healthier.
You've got the other issue too, where the co-opting and the infiltration into the schooling is also corrupting how people come out.
The whole thing is messed up, man, from start to finish. There was, in my profession, there was a big division. This started about 20 years ago and has persisted. And this naturopathic medical school that I went to went bankrupt because of it. They went bankrupt. So Bastyr University of Naturopathic Medicine last year had to file bankruptcy because they were training their students in this green allopathic method, which was inconsistent with naturopathic medical therapeutics. And when those kids got out of school, they couldn't help anybody. And one of the kids sued the school and won.
Oh, good.
He said, the school did not prepare me for being a doctor. And they were right. It didn't. And, or something like that. Allegedly.
You know, yeah, that's kind of a double-edged sword though, because did he win because the system wants to paint naturopathy as being an ineffective method of
Yeah.
Or is it because in the framework of naturopathy, they weren't teaching proper naturopathy, because then that would validate that naturopathy does have a position and a place.
Yeah,
So
that's right.
It's hard to,
That's a guy. I like the way that you think. You should have been a trial lawyer. So I don't know, but the point is that the most, in my opinion, which is based on 38 years of clinical experience, I was there when naturopathic medicine was being reborn in this country.
yeah, you got lucky. What's
Right,
upsetting about
right.
that?
I got in right in that like 10-year window. I was right there.
Yeah.
So most naturopathic doctors don't practice naturopathic medicine. They practice this green allopathic weird medicine, which is really not any better than functional medicine. And the schism was so bad that there was a professional organization that developed because of it, in order to teach people who just graduated from naturopathic medical schools how to practice naturopathic medicine, because they weren't taught it in school. And that organization is called the Naturopathic Medicine Institute.
Mm-hmm.
It's a 501c3 platinum rated nonprofit organization that teaches naturopathic doctors how to be real naturopathic doctors.
Were you the treasurer at one point?
Yeah, I was the treasurer at one point.
And then Andre's saying he's also in Montreal building a school, right? Or is that?
He was going to, but the legalities in that part of Canada were prohibitive, and he couldn't do it because the law did not allow for it.
I wonder if he could do it in Halifax.
I don't know. But in any event, it didn't happen because the legal system did not allow for it.
That's awful.
Which is crazy when you think about it. There were over 200 homeopathic medical schools in this country in the early 1900s. There, I think, were 50 hospitals, rather. There were 50, I think, naturopathic medical schools. And after the 1915, the hostile takeover, they all closed.
So it took him about 3 years from the Flexa report to start implementing it?
Yep. And then they all closed, and the chiropractic colleges, and everybody had to fight their way back. The osteopaths got lucky because after World War II, when there were no more doctors because they all died in World War II. And back in those days, there were no women doctors. It was all men. So after World War II, there was a dearth of doctors, not enough doctors. So the American Medical Association made a deal with the osteopaths to give them the privileges of being an MD. Isn't that great?
Yeah.
And then within 5 years, the education of the osteopath was indistinguishable from the education of an MD. And so they basically,
That's what a DO is, right?
yeah, DO.
Yeah.
They lost their footing. They lost their true roots, and they're basically, it's the same profession now.
You know, I've noticed a lot of people still trust them as if they're somehow different than an MD. I've caught that. People are like, oh, that's okay. I'm going to a DO.
Yeah. Okay. Good.
Okay. That might have meant something at some point in history, but I don't think it does anymore.
I don't think it does anymore. There are exceptions that prove the rule, like Sherry Tenpenny, right?
Yeah, she's awesome. Yeah.
But by and large, it's a bad situation. And again, this would all go away with medical freedom, which Benjamin Rush, one of the signers of the Declaration of Independence, warned us about. And I'm paraphrasing, but here's what he said. Dr. Benjamin Rush, over 200 years ago: unless we put medical freedom into the Constitution, the time will come when medicine will organize itself into a dictatorship, restricting the art of healing to one class of doctors and denying equal privileges to others. This will constitute the Bastille of medical science. All such laws will be un-American and despotic. End quote. And that's exactly what's happened.
It makes me wonder if he was asked to also sign, you know, if he would have been in the conversation for the actual Constitution, and he may have rejected it because they didn't do what he said. I mean, I don't know if that was a thing or not. If he was even around, because a lot of people died during that. A lot of very wealthy people got
the Declaration of Independence were killed.
Yeah, exactly. Hunted.
So
died penniless.
Yeah. So here we are, you know, in the 21st century, and it's not any better. I mean, we have been inside of the grip of a medical monopoly for over 100 years, and it's literally killing us.
Yeah.
And most people are not even aware that it exists. They're not even aware that it exists. And this is where the term alternative came from. Right. I don't practice alternative medicine. Saying that I practice alternative medicine is like saying the only real dog is a German Shepherd and every other dog is an alternative dog. That's
well, in my case, it's a Chihuahua. So you probably would say it's an alternative dog.
But that's what everybody believes because of the medical monopoly that's hiding in plain sight and nobody even knows it's there. And so we have a giant freaking problem in this country, and the only thing that's going to fix it is medical freedom. And I don't see any of that on the horizon at all, even with Bobby Kennedy's influence.
Look at what Maha's doing now. Aren't they? Oh, there's great promise in this mRNA shot that was. I was under the impression turbo cancer was being caused by it. Now it's fighting cancer.
It's bullshit. The whole thing is bullshit.
Absolutely.
But so here we are. You know, we're whispering it. We're shouting in a hurricane, and people can't hear us because there's so much noise about everything. And so it's. I think it's maybe 10% of the population that has the ears to hear this message,
right?
And maybe half of that will actually take action on it. And, you know, it's crazy to me because I have a lot of people that I've been helping over the last 40 years. And, you know, I got a phone call from somebody a couple months ago. I treated them like 20 years ago when I was in Massachusetts successfully. I think it was breast cancer. I can't remember what the condition was, but it went away. And then I moved. And I didn't hear from them again. And then I got a call, and they said, "Oh, you know, I've had arthritis for 5 years, and I had a knee replacement surgery, and everything's worse now." And I'm like, "What are you talking about? Why didn't you call me? Why did you go to the MDs after everything that I've taught you?" And it's not because they're stupid. It's because the socialization.
Right.
continues. And maybe there's subliminal messaging in the direct-to-consumer ads for pharmaceuticals. I don't know, but everybody loves their MD, even though while they were under the MD's care, they got sick, and then the MDs had a failed treatment for them, and they still love them. It's insane to me why this happens, and it can only happen inside of a monopoly.
The only time I actually watch or am subjected to TV is if I'm somehow in someone's office for whatever reason. I could be, doing whatever. And the commercials, they're terrifying. It's like we live in a prison and nobody gets it.
Yeah.
They're preying on you and telling you to take these things and ask your doctor about this. And it's just horrifying because that's being pumped into everybody's head who's sitting there watching daytime TV all day.
Alex Jones was right. It's Prison Planet.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know what? Yesterday we went on anyway, and I was going and demonstrating to people that every single one of these, points. Basically, I went over a few just to make the point on the health recovery page. Every one of them, the MD says the cause unknown,
That's
unknown.
right.
Well, if you don't know, how do you fix it? If you don't know what the root cause is, how do you fix it?
And if you don't have a working definition of health, how
How
can
do
you
you
help
get
somebody to recover it?
right?
And that's a head spinner for most people. If you're in the listening audience here and you want to have fun with your medical doctor, ask them what their definition of health is and see what they say. You'll be surprised.
So when I was looking at some of these things, I came across the gout. Didn't think I'd be interested in it, but again, this is one of those things where you talk about the pathology or what they say, and the buildup of uric acid in the joints, the hands or the feet or whatever. And I remember back when I was in like high school, there was a band out there in upstate New York called the Bad Case of the Gout. Didn't understand what that meant, but I thought it was an interesting name for a little punk band or whatever. And um, when you were describing it, I was thinking to myself, well, maybe there's a reason because you said it's a super powerful antioxidant, uric acid, right? And I mean, I know what urea is and all that. If that's the case, it made me start to wonder: has anybody advanced the knowledge on the naturopathy side since that video? Because is it possible that there's a parasite that it's trying to attack, and it's just throwing everything it's got at it, the strongest thing it can throw at it? Because I don't know, but I mean, it makes
Could
me
be.
wonder.
I mean, it could be because the body has wisdom, and the body is
Right.
always trying to protect itself, right? But remember, that's that's um, that scenario presents itself when the body's completely nutrified.
Right.
If the body's not nutrified, then all bets are off, and there can be a lot of different things going on.
You got a good point there because the balance isn't there, and it's gonna. This is the other thing I've been saying, and tell me if I'm wrong about this, but if your body's used to having this much and it's supposed to have that much, all the functions that it does, it's not really doing all any of them at 100%. It's down regulating everything to where it can manage all functions. Yeah, I
Yeah,
would
that's
imagine.
correct. And so people get used to having headaches twice a month. They get used to being stiff in the morning when they get out of bed. They get used to having a horrible night's sleep. They get used to crashing and burning at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. They get used to mediocrity because everybody else in their family and in their workplace has it.
Right,
So
that's right.
why should I be any different? Life sucks and then you die. You're absolutely right. And again, I mean, this from the Department of Redundancy Department is a function of the medical monopoly because orange is the new black, right? Sickness is the new health. Everybody's sick all the time. Everybody is sick all of the time. Not because that's the way that it needs to be because you're human, but that's the way that it is under the care of the MD.
Right. And it's funny that you say that because some people be like, I'm not sick, but do you know what you're supposed to be functioning at?
Yeah.
And if you're not, or if you just and you become people become accustomed to a certain way of feeling, and then they don't even recognize that it's an ailment after a while. But they just live with it. Like if there's a pain or whatever, or if they
Yeah.
cough up a little bit, that's just who I am. You know, it's
People don't know what they're missing.
all right.
My
And I find
brother
that
is a perfect example.
your brother.
Yeah. So I've got 3 brothers. They're all bad, and none of them listened to me. One of them did for a couple of years, but then so
So this is I didn't mean to interrupt. Go ahead.
no. I mean, what are you going to do? You
All right.
can't fix stupid, and it's not just people are stupid. It's the medical monopoly. I mean, people go to the hospital. There's millions of dollars of equipment and real estate, and hundreds of people in white and green uniforms marching around, and they all seem to know what they're doing.
Even the ones that dance.
So it's easy to be enrolled in that method,
All right.
even when it's the wrong method.
It looks very official.
Yeah. And again, it's the medical monopoly that is the reason for that. And, if we had medical freedom, man, if we actually did, and I've said this a million times, it's worth repeating. If by some genie in the bottle magic, we all woke up tomorrow and there were just as many naturopathic doctors as MDs, just as many homeopathic doctors as MDs, homeopathic medical schools, naturopathic medical schools, homeopathic hospitals, naturopathic healing sanitariums, if it was an equal playing field, then within like 3 years, maybe not even, the MDs would be out of a business. The surgeons and the emergency room docs would still be in business, but everybody would stop going to the medical doctor for everything that wasn't trauma because the homeopaths and the naturopaths cure it. So why wouldn't you go to the doctor that cures it? I mean, they'd be out of a job if we had medical freedom in a genie in the bottle magic land.
Right. That's after the revolution, I guess, or the restoration.
Well, I mean, and even if, Bobby Kennedy wakes up and Trump wakes up and they do pass legislation or they do something politically that gives medical freedom a real thing, it's going to take 3 generations for the infrastructure to catch up. Because the naturopathic medical schools aren't teaching it anymore. There are no homeopathic medical schools. There are no homeopathic hospitals, and there are no naturopathic healing sanitariums in the world. There aren't any. They don't exist anymore. And, that stuff's not just going to spring up overnight. When I win the lottery and throw $20 million to buy real estate and build a naturopathic healing facility, who am I going to get to work there?
Who are you going to get to license or allow you to zone it and all the other stuff when you tell them what it's for? And
then how are the patients going to pay for it?
Right.
So the whole thing is a shit show from start to finish. And, I've been up on this mountain basically by myself for 38 years, waving this flag, saying, fire your medical doctor immediately, seek out alternatives, fire your medical doctor immediately and seek out alternatives. And honestly, man, sometimes I feel like I'm, whispering into a hurricane. That's a better metaphor.
All right. And that link that's going across the bottom of the screen here, the link is also in the description of all these videos. This is the website that we've been talking about. And because, like you said, there are no places like that there's no facilities for bigger problems, I guess you could call it. That's why it's important to be familiar with your website, because while you're still not in, God bless you, not in a bind where you have to be hospitalized, don't ever let yourself get to that point. Learn what's going on with yourself. And it's just so crazy that so many things, I have to keep coming back to this thing where the people they jump on peptides or they jump on anything they can pin themselves and try to cheat code their bodies. They're bypassing this part, which is going to get rid of all the contaminants or denatured bad stuff on purpose. And they could have just upped their cholesterol intake, took the 90 essential nutrients, gave it some time so that your body understands that it doesn't have to be down here anymore. It can start upregulating again. And maybe your testosterone wouldn't have been an issue. Maybe you
blue.
Right. Because what does it matter if you're looking at a number on a piece of paper? Does that tell you how much muscle you're building or how much better your libido is or how much energy you have? Or is it you just feel it better. You don't need to, oh, I have to get to 800. Who picked that out of a hat? I got to get to 1200. Who
Right.
picked that nanograms per deciliter? Like,
Well,
who
Big
picked that
Pharma
up?
picked it out of the hat. That's who did it.
Right.
And and now COVID is on the rise again. Give
Is
me a
that
break.
right? Oh my God.
It's probably 6G tower. It's probably a function of 6G now instead of 5G. If I had to guess, I
They're
would say
just
that's the thing.
they're just gonna do it to us all over again.
Yeah, man. So the ladies and gentlemen in the listening audience, my simple request is that, or my message is that your body's ability to fix itself is much greater than anybody has led you to believe. And there are ways to do that. There's ways to fly the airplane based on the laws of aerodynamics, and there's ways to crash the airplane, right? Same laws, you have to know how to do it. Well, when it comes to the laws of healing, my colleagues and I fly that plane every day. And that's our strength. That's our wheelhouse. That's what we do. And that's what you need to learn what to do. And it's not that hard, man. If you're smart enough to pass the driver's license test, you're smart enough to learn what to do to help your body to fix itself. And you better do it now, because if you wait until you've got something wrong with you, it's going to be super easy for you to fall into the grips of the medical mousetrap, the conventional medical mousetrap, and then you're screwed, glued, and tattooed. It's not going to be good. So avail yourself of the information that I bring to the table. I don't know everything, but I know a lot. And the information that I bring to the table is not my own information. It's information that my colleagues, both present and in the past, have brought to the table, and that I'm focusing for you to help you understand what to do, because it's not difficult to learn how to do this stuff. You just need someone to tell you how.
You need a coach. You need somebody to guide. I'll help you out with that too. You got to get on Dr. Glidden's membership site first, and then you come over to me, and I'll help walk you through it.
I mean, 100%.
Yeah. So I was looking at the essential fatty acids video, and I had a bunch of questions because of the ratios. Number one, for the omega 3s and omega 6s. Do you have to be this? You good? For
Yeah,
time?
no. Well, I'm sorry. No, I'm good.
Okay. So when you were going over the omega 6s and we were talking about inflammatory, the GLA, that one is non-inflammatory. Does that mean that there's omega 6s out there that people would just, I don't know, is it always a mix? I mean, like whatever the source is, or is it potential that you can find an omega 6 that is not going to be contributing to inflammation? And would that matter? Because when you're looking at the food and they look all imbalanced, it would be hard, even to the 1-to-5 ratio, to find that in nature. So it makes me curious: is that really what we're supposed to be at? Because if it doesn't present itself in nature that way, how would we, how would nature expect us to achieve that?
That's a great point. The one thing that I can tell you for sure regarding the whole omega, the essential fatty acids, omega-3 essential fats and omega-6 essential fats, is that it seems that it's much more physiological impactful if you get those from animal sources instead of plant sources.
So no flax.
I've had people that were doing the fish oil capsules for years, and then someone told them that was bad, and they switched to the plant, and they got worse. So I don't know what it is about that, and I'm sure that there is a there, right? But I don't know what it is. That's above my pay grade. All I know is that omega-3 and omega-6 essential fatty acids are essential nutrients, and you need more omega-6 if you're trying to build things up, and more omega-3 if you're trying to maintain things. So omega-6 is needed for child growth, like from birth until you're 21, because your body's growing. You need more omega-6. But after once you're in your mid-20s, you don't need as much omega-6. And if you take too much omega-6 in the absence of omega-3, it will cause inflammation. And you'll start to get achy and painy. And it's because you're doing too much omega-6. Now, most foods that we eat are loaded with omega-6.
Nice.
So most people, again, after they're 20, 23, 24 years old, they don't need extracurricular omega-6, but they do need omega-3 because they're getting omega-6 in the food that they're eating. And this is another interesting thing. This is why frequently when people have like low-grade chronic pain somewhere in their body, when they go on a fast, the pain goes away. Well, why is that? Because you were unwittingly eating food that was high in omega-6 and you didn't know it. And as an adult, too much omega-6 creates inflammation. So which is the best supplement for that? I have no idea. I can't tell you that. Nobody can tell you that. But what you can do is you can tell me that, by doing this fish oil supplement for 30 days and then switching to a different one for 30 days and then switching to a different one for 30 days and see which one makes you feel better. I can't tell you which one it is because nobody knows for sure, but I do know that the omega-3 and the omega-6 thing is a thing.
Yeah, and that's what made me curious because if it's a blend in whatever, food source we're getting it from, how much is GLA and would that bring down the ratio number? Because if that's not in it, if that doesn't cause inflammation, then the ratio doesn't have to be as tight.
Yeah, I think there are a lot of variables there, like gamma linoleic acid versus alpha linoleic acid versus icosapentaenoic acid. So most of that is outside of my wheelhouse. And I don't know the details of that. But what I can tell you is that your body will let you know if you know how to be mindful about it. So you need essential fatty acids to take this one for 30 days and then switch and then switch. And then you tell me which one makes you feel better. And that's the one you should stick with.
And the ALA is related to ATP energy in some way?
Perhaps.
ATP
energy, I think, has more to do with copper than anything else. But look, yeah. So, and one of the beauties of this approach is that, and it's an easy trap to fall into to try to micromanage the metabolism of the body, right? We don't do that, man. We just give the body everything that it needs.
Oh, yeah, exactly.
Right. But it's a point well taken. Is this copper supplement going to be better than this copper supplement? Well, yeah. Is this fish oil supplement going to be better than this one? Well, yeah. Right. So you have to do your own in-house experiment to figure that out. And remember, I don't sell the nutritional supplements that I'm advocating here. I don't sell them. I recommend them because they're the best ones I've ever seen. So there's that also. And I wanted to tell you something. Remember, I think the last time I was on with you, we were on with Dr. Monzo.
Yeah.
And remember, Dr. Monzo showed us that Tesla electrical device. Remember that?
I forgot what it's called. Yeah, with the tubes. Different attachments on it.
Remember that thing that used to be on my forehead? It was a big melanoma.
It's gone.
It's gone.
And you use that?
I used that. It took 2 weeks.
You were able to find one like him? That's.
I got it. Yeah, I bought it. I looked it up while we were talking, and I bought it.
Wow. How many He's got all the things for it too?
Yeah, it's got the hair comb. It's got everything.
Awesome.
Yeah,
it's crazy that he thought somebody sent him that one just because they were cleaning out an attic or something like that, right?
Yeah,
it's pretty incredible. Is that Violet Ray? That's what it's called, right?
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
So then I had one more thing, I think. I guess it doesn't really matter. I was looking at the glutathione peroxide that you were, discussing in one of the videos, and the only reason why I asked about the it was just because when you were on the topic of discussing the EFAs, when on the topic, those little questions just kind of came up. Not that you wouldn't still just bring all the 90 to the table.
Yeah.
And there was one other thing, and I keep on losing it out of my head. Oh yeah, Immortalium. Is that something that they still sell?
Yeah.
They do. Okay, that was the other question. And there, I noticed a lot of different things that you guys over the videos that expands the universe of the longevity products. And I knew apparently they used to have like 5 different EFA supplements. One of them was the Prohoba, and then they had all different other kinds. One
Yeah, I
of
don't
them was
like
like
the guy
Great
that
Six.
the guy that was responsible for the Prahobas died,
Oh,
and after he died, they changed the formula for some probably to save money,
mm,
and it didn't work as well as it did. So we don't recommend the Prahoba anymore, which is a shame because that's what we recommended all the time, and it was a great product, but it's not so great anymore.
that's
There are 2 add-ons to the 90 essential nutrients that I think are worthwhile for people to experiment with.
oh, they got, if you want to bring up Eiffel Health, will they be on there?
They might be.
All right, let's see.
That website needs an overhaul. I don't know if they're on it.
Let me take a look. I think I put it in the description here. Yep, right there. Oop. Can you guys see it?
Yeah, I can see it. Yeah, we can see it. Okay, so keep scrolling.
The good
Keep
herbs too. I have to
scrolling.
go to that video. I don't think I've watched all of that yet. I think that's
Yeah,
in.
no, it's not. It's not on there. It's called Fucoidin or Fucoid Z, FUCOID-Z, Fucoid Z,
Yeah.
and the Nature's Pearl.
Let's see if I can get it. Is this also being okay, so I see Fucoid Z. Let me pop it up on the screen. Do you have a particular place that you would prefer people to get it from?
No, I don't care. You can get it from Eiffel Health.
Yeah, you just have to call, right?
Yeah. So when people
Jesus.
there's hundreds or thousands of distributors of the longevity products all over the world, and you should purchase the stuff from the person that told you about me.
Yeah.
Fucoid Z. I like they have a liquid somewhere,
Oh, look.
and that's the retail price.
Right. Let me just go ahead and get rid of this one so I can find the liquid version.
Yeah, but I like the Fucoid Z, either the liquid or the powder. The powder is like the tangy tangerine. You can mix it in with your tangy. And I like there's a 32-ounce bottle or 16-ounce bottle, I think, of muscadine grape extract. It's expensive, but you use a teaspoon a day in your cocktail, and it is very good for you.
So this is this is Z radical. Never mind. I thought they said Fucoid Z. Oh, no, it says Fucoidian extract.
Yeah, Z radical. That's it.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's not that bad of for the liquid of that, but now you're saying the other one was called what?
It's called muscadine, MUSCA, D like David, INE, muscadine grape extract. It's a big price point. It's super concentrated.
Muscadine grape extract. And that is that also longevity?
Yep.
All right, so
It's
I'll make
by
sure.
a subsidiary called Nature's Pearl.
Oh, I see Nature's Pearl. Yeah, muscadine grape.
Yeah.
That's a liquid though you're looking for?
Yep.
Holy. Okay, yeah. There's a bottle with it says longevity capsules, which is 60 of those, and it's 68. Right next to it is the bottle. Holy cow.
How much is the bottle?
Well, this is on eBay, so I can't really tell you, but I mean, I can't tell you if that's what the true cost of it is, but let me just show you what it looks like. Does that make sense?
Yeah,
600.
no, that's not a good price for that.
Okay. All right. Well, at least that's good. That's good to know. That's not the proper price for that. That's just somebody being a weirdo on
And
eBay.
everybody should do colon hydrotherapy, at least 10 sessions of colon hydrotherapy. Once you've been on the 90 essential nutrients for 60 days, you should dial in 10 sessions of colon hydrotherapy inside 3 weeks. It's very, very good for you. And in Ayurvedic medicine, by the way, which is one of the oldest systems of medicine on the planet, might even be the oldest, it's from mainland India, Ayurveda.
Mm-hmm.
One of the Ayurvedic keys to longevity is colon cleansing. So colon hydrotherapy is a great thing to dial in once every couple of years. So find a good colon hydrotherapist in your zip code and make friends with them because they can help you quite a bit.
Do you ever wonder how things are first discovered?
Yeah.
Like what happened? It wasn't a garden hose, I hope.
Funny. Bernie Jensen, of course, made the whole colon cleansing thing famous back in the day. He wrote a book called something. But Bernard Jensen's motto was "Death begins in the colon."
Oh yeah, I remember that.
And he was right. I've had 4 remarkable healings in my life so far. I'm 67. 2 were with colon hydrotherapy.
Wow, he lived to be about what was that 96, 7?
Yeah, and he didn't know anything about the 90 essential nutrients.
Wow. He did one on garlic, it looks like too.
Yeah. So I am of the belief that when you are born, the moment of your death is baked into the cake, and there's only so many breaths that you're allowed. And so I don't think there's anything that anybody can do to extend their lifespan.
But the quality.
But the quality is very important, and you can do everything in the world to upregulate that. And this goes back to what we were talking about with medical mediocrity, that people get used to feeling like crap.
Right. Spend it in misery.
Yeah, and then they start taking ibuprofen. You know how many guys I golf with that take ibuprofen before every round? All of them.
It's become more of a camaraderie. I have something in common with somebody else. We're all complaining about our pains. Like there's other things to talk about that you could relate to each other with. You don't have to all be like, yeah, I feel like crap too. All right, fist bump. We just validated that this is a good way to be.
Yeah, and everybody's showing off their knee replacement surgery scars. It's like, a badge of honor. It's like,
Oh
okay.
my God. When I went to New York to visit my parents and we went up to their camp on Brennan Beach on the Lake Ontario, it's all campers. Like they all have like their, I guess we could call it like a modular home or whatever, but they're all on the beach. And it's older people. And that's all the discussions were. Hip replacement, shoulders, this and that. And I'm scheduled for this and gallbladder that. I'm like, where am I?
Yeah. You're in USA.
Yeah.
Main Street, USA is where you are. People rattle their prescription medicine bottles to celebrate their health. And this is how deep down the rabbit hole everybody's gone, and nobody even knows that they're in a rabbit hole. Right? And it's bad, man. So that's why I show up here as frequently as I can. And now, regretfully, I have to bounce.
Okie dokie.
So I'll get one more. Was there one more thing on your mind? I've got 2 minutes.
Well, because when you said when I was listening to you about the glutathione peroxidase, and then I was like versus food grade hydrogen peroxide. That's not really that wonderful of a thing, is it?
No, because so one of the things, there's a type of your immune system called a macrophage, and it's like little Miss Pac-Man.
Yeah.
And the macrophage will engulf like a microbe, the bacteria that it's trying to kill. And when it engulfs it, it pours hydrogen peroxide on it to kill it. So hydrogen peroxide is used to kill things in the body. And swallowing
not just
hydrogen peroxide, probably not a good idea, but upregulating the body's ability to make its own hydrogen peroxide is a really good idea.
Yeah.
And we do that with selenium, because selenium helps the body to recycle glutathione, which is the main driver there.
And because of steroids, a lot of people get the enlarged heart, or they get the left ventricular, you know what I mean? Selenium again, right? That's been shown
selenium to the rescue, and it was the Germans that figured that out in World War II.
That is incredible.
It was called athlete's heart, and it went away with selenium. But don't publicize that to the world because it's not a drug.
Meanwhile, bodybuilders dropping dead left and right, probably depleting all of their nutrients, but
It's crazy. It's an inside out, upside down world, ladies and gentlemen. Fire your medical doctor immediately and seek out alternatives. My website and Daniel's are perhaps the best places to start. God willing, and the creek don't rise. I'll see you next time. Live long and prosper, buddy.
Thank you,
Thanks.
buddy. All right. That was a great, great talk. I'm glad we got it in. Oh, and by the way, so for people who showed up, you didn't go into a time warp. Dr. Glidden is traveling. He was in a different state, and that's why we postponed it. And then we just started a little bit early today. Thought it was gonna be 11. I got a text message, and I was like, "I'll be right there." So then we started then, and so yeah, apologize for me having it scheduled and then starting early. So if you guys want to, obviously, you can just watch the replay. I'm going to go through both of the websites right now. Stick around. That's funny, Karen. Here, let me put this on the meet. Now that we're done with the thing and it doesn't put up so much block, that one looks better. Excuse me. It's not as minimized. Now I get back to comments. There we go. Oop. And what are the benefits of adding those two products to our daily regime? I would have to get him back on to ask. See, that's what I don't like though. See how the Fitwit and the damn things are like stacked really thick. Like I can drop the style back to bubble, I guess. There we go. All right. So I don't know. Can you guys in the audience tell me in the chat? I tried to make my volume better. Dr. Glidden said I sounded just fine, and I was coming through loud and clear. Even yesterday, because I use StreamYard and I listened to it back, I can't even hear it unless I put it on my phone to watch it and then put on the bass booster to 150%. And when we were talking the previous two times, Dr. Glidden and I didn't even share those in on a podcast because I didn't like the audio quality. It was very, very bad on my end. And it's StreamYard. Nothing's changed in any of my settings. They just tweak things. And when I asked them about it, they're like, give us screenshots. I'm like, screenshots of audio. I was like, how about you stop sending your automated responses as if that's somehow an effort and just read what the hell I'm saying? And then admitting to the fact that you sell a service that is subpar and that you don't give a shit about. Why don't you do that? Why don't you tell us? Why don't you just send me back a picture of your finger like this, and then at least you'll be honest, right? Be upfront with how much you just don't give a shit. And the enshittification while the prices go up. When I first got my website with Weebly for my hot sauce business, for years, because they don't do anything. I built it. I built it with the tools that they had on the site. They put forth no effort to maintain or any of that stuff. It was $40 a month, and people told me that that was expensive back then. It's $107 now because Square bought them. You know what else they did to Weebly? They like twilighted it or whatever they call it. They're not adding anything to it and haven't been forever, but they're still going to charge me a premium. So if I ask for customer support when I had a question before I changed anything, I wanted to change the cell phone layout because, and I'll just show you here real quick since we're on the topic. Let me go ahead and do that. And then that'll be a good way to segue into the other stuff we were talking about. So, they don't have the same options anymore. Is that how we roll? Okay. So let's go to the video that we're watching right now. Okay, cool. Yeah, I had to screw around a bunch of different settings. Thank you, Karen. All right, so here's the video that we were watching. And Dr. Peter Glidden's website we'll see in just a moment. If you scroll down, you'll see semperfryllc.com. That's my website. It even says my site for awesome things. All things awesome, I should have said. But anyhow. Anytime you're ready, bro. There you go. So when you look at the phone version, the mobile version of this, it shows this column, and then this column. And there's, to my knowledge, there's no way to change that unless I completely remove them and just had a center column, which defeats the purpose of everything. So it's all stacked and it's dumb. And I don't know why they do that because they're just a primitive format. And when I called them, I had to call them and I got hung up on multiple times. I wasn't rude. They just didn't like the questions, couldn't answer them because it's a fake call center. Because there's no tech support. They called themselves tech support, and I said, okay, so tech support sounds like you have a knowledge of the software and how it works, because that's typically what that means. So if I ask you a simple question as to if I don't change the desktop layout, but I try to alter the mobile app layout so that people have a better viewing experience, will that affect the desktop uh, view and layout? They couldn't answer the question. They asked me a bunch of stupid questions. They asked me and then they would ask me some other things. So what is it? What site? I'm like, these are all, doesn't matter what it is. And I gave them that information, but I'm like, those don't matter, because the point of the software and having knowledge of it is to does it operate, and what is it what's its nature, what is affected by what. If you're a tech support ma'am with a strange and suspicious accent who seems like a real big tech, why is it that you can't just answer the simple questions? So it's obvious they don't give a crap, but yet it goes from 40 to 107, right? This is ridiculous. I've been looking for a new home for this, but again, at the same time, I put a lot of time into building this site, and I really don't want to have to do it all over again. It bothers me to have to deal with that. It took months. Like, we never had time to go ahead and do it. And also, I did it when I was living in an apartment by myself. I was happy with it, but I was minimalist. I probably had my laptop on the floor, laying on the floor, because I probably had one chair and a bed and a couch, at the time. And I like space, so I was cool with that. Kept everything super clean, um, and then here we are. But if you are on semperfryllc.com, just also understand Paratus is a 50% off coupon for the sauces and the creatine. The creatine is right there. And you can go to Dr. Glidden's site simply by clicking this, and you can use code FITWIT or the channel name that you're watching right now, which is Ballbusters. Okay. Click that, and it'll bring you right to it. You guys can still see that, I hope. If that doesn't really show that you can. And I gotta move ahead again. Hold on. I gotta change the view. And I don't even see that view. Is it that one? Yeah, that looks like it's about right. Now you can see the little thing on the bottom when I go back to it. So now you can see the members button. That one should probably say log in, or maybe it'll still say members, but when you click it, if you're not logged in, yeah, it'll be right there. All right. And then you'll be able to sign up through, and make sure it says VIA equals PGND Health. If you have Honey on your phone or computer, get it. First of all, get it off there. It's spying on you. And also, it's destroying links. So it's funneling it to itself. So, anyhow, then you go ahead and just sign up, and you can use code, like I said, FITWIT or Ballbusters for 25% off both the monthly or the annual. Check the monthly, because if it's not set up for the monthly, to do that, I just have to tell Dr. Glidden, because we had, for a while there, it was on a different, other than a monthly program on the first option. And so I don't know if it was ever reactivated for that particular. Oh, British Columbia called. Remember how he was going to call at 11:30? Oh, he's here. Nothing I can do about it now. Oh well, we started a little early. Well, that's unfortunate. Anyhow, so yes, health recovery protocols. If you're interested, and you should be, even if you're not particularly having this issue, I found this one to be really important and interesting. Uric acid, diatheses, and gout. And if you come away from that with the same questions that I have about whether or not there could be some other component that the body's actually trying to fight by utilizing the uric acid to do so, and then it gets overwhelmed or whatnot, it might, maybe it's, but again, remember, like he said, the body does different and weird things. Like the signaling could be messed up because it's not getting the proper nutrients to keep it in line and doing what it's supposed to do. That's why iron gets imbalanced and put into tissues, and you get oxidative stress and fatigue because of the extra iron. Then they'll say, oh, there's no iron in the blood. you're anemic, and then they give you more ferritin. Ferritin's like the I guess like the capsule that or the vehicle, but they give you this other crap, and then you have even more iron in your body. When the problem wasn't that, it was like you didn't have enough copper, and then you actually needed like something like a inositol from the IP6 in order to get the excess iron out of you and help you restore your energy levels and get rid of your fatigue. And obviously, copper to go along with that. So, yeah, that could also be why uric acid for, uric acid would maybe filter into your extremities. Maybe it's just because it's being thrown off balance because you don't have a proper amount of your nutrients. But also, I was just curious. Maybe there's something that the body's triggered and trying to fight, so it's shooting at whatever those. Maybe there's a what do you call it? A parasite out there with an affinity for knuckles. It's a foot and hand kind of dude. You know what I mean? They got the weird fetish. Those parasites. But there's a lot of interesting things in here, and I've been going through it all. And last night I started going through this one, the Curative Medicine podcast. I had watched a bunch of other stuff previous, so I'm only on the first one right now. But these are a little bit more current, like the 2025. Everything's current as far as being valid or being relevant, but more closer to present day having been recorded. Were these? And is it that way? No. So these are very interesting. And then you have the interviews here, and one of them is with Dr. Monzo, which is cool. He's got a bunch with Sharon Tenpenny too. Let's see, Robert Avo. I think Maury Robinson pops up in here too. I can't believe they're talking about the corona thing yet, like it's a real valid thing. There's Sharon Tenpenny. What am I missing here? Alfonso Monzo. I thought I saw a Morley Robbins in here. Am I losing my mind? I guess so. I swore I saw Morley in here somewhere. Okay. Well, it doesn't matter. You got Dr. Monzo in there. That's the big one. And there was one more spot. I thought, where there was more. Well, anyway, you got the live Q&A here. What did I just do? What the hell did I just do? There we go. And he just had one just before he jumped on with us. August 27th. I can't believe it would be 47 tomorrow. Like, whatever. It's a number, but it just blows my mind that much time has passed already. So if you're on the main page, and the best way for me to do that is just to get rid of this whole thing and just go back to my website and click the clean link. And if you scroll down, there's a little introduction. Probably watch that. It ain't what you don't know that will hurt you. It's what you know for sure that just ain't so. Mark Twain. There are 3 ways to access Dr. Glidden's change in his book: private appointment and through membership subscription. This book will completely alter your view of medicine. Yes, it will. And especially if you have all the other ones he's written beforehand. This one I had an electronic copy, and then that phone crapped out, so I still have to try to get that transferred. If not, let's get it again. Maybe I'll get a hard copy. Leave Big Pharma behind. Become the hero of your own health recovery. And I just realized that this picture that he put on his book, I found in one of his older videos that he had done too. It popped up in one of his PowerPoint presentations. I thought that was kind of cool. So, and he also, in the Curative Medicine podcast, he goes over what a naturopathic doctor has to go through in order to become a licensed, naturopathic doctor. You have to go through 1,000 hours of whatever they call that, intern, whatever, and then there's 4 years of one, and then 4 years of the pre, and then like it's all kinds of schooling. It's not any different than any other doctor. And those people come out because with the mindset of, oh, you have a pain here, we address here. We don't address the hole, we address the thing. Or you have your lungs, okay, we attack the lungs. What's the problem? Yeah, okay. You got a heart issue? We attack the heart, not do you have all your nutrients? It's all the simple stuff that people like, oh, I can't believe that. Well, why would the body be constantly breaking down unless, if drugs are kind of an advent of the last couple 100 years, we'll say, maybe not when you go back into pharmacia and all that, but do you think that's a natural way to fix a problem? Do you think that's what nature would have asked you to do? Or do you think maybe there's something else going on with what you're supposed to take in to keep your body resistant, strong, and healthy, and able to function at a level that keeps it all in check, like that guy, Busta Rhymes? I would go with the latter, not the Busta Rhymes part. Woo ha woo ha. Okay, and then the last one here is obviously, and from my website or from this link you can get there. So you have the Azure Standard link here, and you have the Eiffel Health link there for the liquid longevity. If you're just getting into the 90 essential nutrients, use code BB5 for your 90 essential nutrients. Azure Standard. Let's see if there's any new. So the Whole Food Multivitamin is this guy right here. Okay. There's some trace minerals in there too, just by default. So you can have some trace minerals in there. The Alaskan Cod Liver Oil is your essential fatty acids. It'd be like the EFAs at Eiffel. And this one would be congruent to the Tangy Tangerine. But I'm saying if you're entry level, these are whole food and it's less of an impact financially to get you started to see, you know, start seeing a difference over a couple months once you're bring your body back up to functional level. The Fulvic-Humic Blend, which I have right here, and I haven't taken it yet today. I got to do that. That's your fulvic humic acid antioxidants that help with the absorption of the minerals that are also a part of that product. So you're getting your minerals that your body needs. Okay. And it's not a lot. 16, well, I take 1/8. So I think, because I didn't buy the 1/8 scoop, but I take a quarter teaspoon and then I just fill it what I think is halfway. But a 16th of a teaspoon is what they say. It's not a lot, and just imagine how little is in your food if that's all it takes for all your nutrients, as far as minerals go. And did we already pass the other one? No, we did not. So I have to click this. Where you at, bro? IP6 Supreme with inositol, which I just showed. That's not the right container shape. At least not the one that they sent me. It's more of a straight. It doesn't taper off like that. But that is the IP6 Supreme with inositol powder, magnesium, calcium, phosphorus, and the inositol that I was telling you about. When it comes to the iron, it does a lot of other things. It's an anti-cancer, antioxidant. It does lots of things, but it helps to regulate your iron so that your ATP energy can be balanced. I mean, your copper iron ratios can be balanced so that you can have proper functioning mitochondrial ATP energy, that's systemic energy for all the things that you need to do. If you don't start with these things, if you don't have those things, you never know how your body was supposed to perform at its optimized level. You're downregulated across the board, confirmed by Dr. Glidden, and probably with emphasis directed towards the functions that help you stay alive, right? But brain fog and all that stuff, like you could be dehydrated. There could be other elements to that, but you also know that you're not getting all the stuff that you need. So getting that first, considering hydration second, and what are you eating? Is it bad? Check out the 12 bad foods on Dr. Glidden's site, to which he has in some of the other videos, it's 10 bad foods, but you already know what the two added ones were: the GMO, corn, and soy. But all corn and soy is probably GMO, if not also riddled with glyphosate. So you're better off just avoiding them like the plague. There's the 12 bad foods right there. All right. Yeah, I'm pretty darn sure well, they didn't do medical cannabis. That one just bothers me because I hate people who are, sorry, I can't say that, but when it comes to dating somebody who doesn't realize that it doesn't make them brilliant drivers or better at everything or smarter or calmer, but it makes them more emotionally erratic, and they just think that that's still a place to hide their from the world is in cannabis. Yeah, I have my reasons to hate it. I think it's a horrible delusion that some people get into, thinking that this is a better way of functioning simply because they can cope and feel better about their emotional, things that they haven't fixed. Meanwhile, the other people in the world who have to deal with them aren't getting a better experience from them simply because they're on cannabis. So you have to look at it from the perspective of the people who have to deal with you. And I don't like cannabis for that reason at all. And I don't see any excuses for it. I don't care. Oh, it can do blah 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 cancer. Yeah, so can the enzymes, the pancreatic enzymes, as John Beard and Dr. Nicholas Gonzalez have pointed out, and Dr. What's the other guy's name? K, something like that. There's all kinds of things. And how about not getting it in the first place, or I don't know, taking your 90 essential nutrients so that if there is a toxin buildup and that's what's causing said abnormalities, that it might actually straighten itself out. And now again, that's only for the potential cancer things. And if that's the case, and you really want to go that route and start uh, using the oils, that's still a whole other thing. Especially if you're in a bed, hospital bed, and you're not having to interact with people and pretend like you're just walking around the world normal. Then okay, people will understand that that's what's going on there, and they can walk away from that bed if they are irritated with your ass. I'm sorry, but this is one of those things that really upsets me. I can't stand how many people are just so fucking delusional about how stupid they are when they're on that stuff. And as you can tell, I don't take it. I never found it to be a fun experience. I like to be in my brain. I don't want to have to wait out the clock as to when I'll be feeling normal again. I'm not a fan of that. And these are the sauces. There you go. It's like going back to the thing I was just talking about, arrested development all day long. That's exactly what it is. And it allows you to feel better about being immature and unable to handle your emotions in a normal adult manner. You have to be medicated. It's upsetting to me. Did I lose everybody with that? I know it's not a popular thing. Yeah, let's keep screwing ourselves up and making our senses dull while they're trying to kill us. That sounds like a fucking great idea. Let's do it. Let's check out of the world. Meanwhile, still having to live in it. What a great idea. Okay, anyway, get holistic healing, nutrient cooking, and fitness coaching with me here. Patreon, Wisdom Fitness AZ, backed by the greatest minds in the world. You want to take what you learned from Dr. Glidden or from the 90 Essential Nutrients into the next level and have guidance through that? Contact me. You have fitness goals, weight loss goals. How do you cook and avoid the crap that you have been told not to touch? Are you interested in keto? Do you want to help? I've done this with my friend Jack, and I am a certified personal trainer. But just so everybody knows, lots of people out there charge a shit ton more than I do, and their advice is MD wrapped with the restraints and viced down, and all they are is a megaphone, right? They're a bullhorn for the same bullshit, and everything that they do, of course they're leaning on their crutch is whatever the bullshit that the doctors and the lying liars who lie, who fund studies to give you a false impression of the world and how things work. That's what they're espousing, and they're going to send you down the wrong way. And none of them are telling you about the nutrients that you need. The fact of the matter is, if you take the nutrients like you're recommended to take, and if in, let's say, 30 days, 90 days, you're not feeling incredibly better, and again, make a list before you get into it, because otherwise you'll probably forget that you even had these issues, and then you'll be like, oh, that pain went away. Oh, I don't get the headache anymore. Oh, my nosebleed stopped. Oh, I have more energy. Oh my God, what's going on here? Yeah, my back's not sore in the morning anymore. I can jog a little bit longer without getting winded. I don't really need the coffee as much as I used to. Okay, well, these are all things that nobody told you that you need it. Maybe that's because also if you're eating the proper amount of cholesterol, your hormones are also leveled up a little bit. And everything that you've been told about these other people, and these other people have told you, doctors, fitness, quote unquote, gurus, and coaches who charge you through the nose are not at all aware of. They'll recommend, you know, how good of a coach is it, a coach, if you say to them, what do I do? And they say, get on these things at these doses. And they're talking about peptides or they're talking about whatever, I don't know, performance enhancing drugs without ever addressing whether or not you're even at the level to be healthily trying to do anything and whether or not you are already at the tippy top of what your natural potential, your natural kinetic, I should say, is. Potential is when you have zero going on and you're at complete state of rest. That's when you have the highest potential, right? You understand how that works. And then when you're out and when you're at your highest level, then that's all kinetic. It's not potential anymore. It's kind of the opposite in the way people think about it. You have a lot of potential. It's like saying you don't do a lot because you could do a whole lot more. right? That's kind of it's kind of an insult when you look at it the right way. So yeah, that is that is a stupid thing to do when you don't have enough nutrients and then you're going to force your body to do something aggressively and like hitting the nitrous in your on your car and stressing the engine and all its parts without having what enough oil, enough gas in it. Like what do you expect to happen? And so that's what I'm saying. You start here, you start there. When you realize and recognize and see for yourself that this has been something that is easy to fix and no one's told you about this ever and that you were skeptical about it and then you see it and you're like that, well obviously that makes sense that your body would need something more than just the calories out of your food. Like why is that such a difficult thing to comprehend? And these specific things and all the millions of dollars of research that went into it with Dr. Wallach and others to get to this level, this point, and all the autopsies and all the blood work and all the stuff that they did. Well, yeah, they narrowed it down for you. So now you have the luxury of just taking what has been researched and figured out. And then when you see it actually does something and no one else has told you that, isn't that kind of the whole point of, the eureka moment of, okay, so when I have this, I don't need them. Okay. Everything else that I put effort into seems to produce better results, more lasting results. I'm getting stronger, more muscle, getting leaner, looking better, looking younger. How did all that happen? Because your body has the is at the healthy level that it's supposed to be at. And then all the other things are about just maintaining, staying on the path, and not allowing yourself to stray because of temptation, habit, routine, boredom, or sometimes you're stressed out and you're just like self-sabotaging yourself because that's the one thing you can control. You know what else you can control? Fitness. You get irritated about something, don't self-sabotage. Don't say I'm going to eat this garbage in my cabinet or whatever in my pantry because F the world, everybody hates me or whatever, people were being jerks today. So don't take it out on yourself and do dumb things that inflame your body. Do something, drink a bunch of water, make sure you're hydrated, do some exercise, lift some weights, get on the elliptical, do something, go outside. You know, don't say touch grass because that's gay, but just do that if you want to. I don't care, but it's just don't say the cliches because then you just sound like everybody else. You don't want to be like everybody else. You're a smarter level of people already because you're here, right? And that's kind of the point that I was making before. This is wise health for wise people. You don't necessarily have to grasp these great grandiose thoughts and ideas for them to work for you. But when they do, that curiosity alone and that benefit that you receive should make you more interested in the topic. And the more interested you are in it, who knows, maybe you're a future content creator or whatever on the side or who knows? Maybe you're retired and you want to talk to people and help them feel better as they're getting whatever, advancing through life. Well, Dr. Glidden can also help with them and you. And so can I with the coaching and stuff like that. So that's why I created this patreon.com Wisdom Fitness AZ. And it is attached to a YouTube channel. So let me take a look over here and show you. Here it is right now. You see these here. And if you go over to the memberships thing, you'll see there's a support tier for the YouTube channel. There's a holistic coaching, and then there's individualized coaching and consulting. And you'll look at that and you understand like one session, one-on-one session. And I should actually add this as a one-timer for people. One session with a personal trainer is $50. This is $49 a month. The individualized coaching is even cheaper than having a personal trainer going session to session. You're going to get all this stuff that you, plus more benefit out of it. You don't have to be 100% self driven, but you should be somewhat serious about your goals, because the things only work if you apply them. You know what I mean? So if you're not willing to apply them, you can't really say that it didn't work. What happened? I bought all these vitamins and I bought all these supplements and I still feel like shit. Did you take them? Oh no. I mean, obviously I just bought them. Well, okay. Well, the action of buying them doesn't help you as much as taking them. It's nice to know that you have them. It won't be very far for you to walk to get them, but that's great. Let's see. And there we go. So Pradas, 15% off. You already have all that. Let's get back into the thing here. I'm trying to read what Karen said here. Do I not have the... Oh, there it is. Karen says, best way to seduce a woman. Everything about you is perfect except these 150 things. And good luck trying that. Well, what's actually kind of funny is I was just watching something with Owen Benjamin, and it was like, I don't know if it was Owen Benjamin. It could have been somebody else, but there's like, um, he's like, the things that people think make you attractive to females and the things they actually do are two different things. Like if you're changing your brake pads on your vehicle, or you're doing yard work and you're maintaining a fire and not burning down your backyard, those things are more attractive to a female than all this other stupid shit that makes you more like a metrosexual in a sense, because it's all about you dressing up pretty and having a nice car. It's like, can you do stuff? Because that's like on the instinctive survival level more suitable for a mate, right? So it's good to look like you're strong. Can you actually do things, or does somebody like yell at you and you get scared even though you're a bigger dude? It's like there's a way you carry yourself and the activities that you conduct and are able to conduct without throwing a wrench or screaming and jumping up and down, stomping your feet. If you can if you can handle it, then it's an attractive trait, and I have to agree with that. Because I'm just kidding. So I can see it from both ends, both sides of the spectrum, whatever you go. I'm just teasing. So leave Big Farm behind. You see the little thing there? You don't have to try to catch it. You're not a cat. You don't have to laser eye it or laser point it. Just look in the description of the videos. Oh my God. So I'm going to do this all fucking day now because he called. Dr. Glidden. No, I got to block a number. Karen says, totally hot, especially if their shirt is off and they're showing off their beer gut. It's funny? I got up today, I had a nice talk to my daughter where she went off to, do her thing. And I was looking at my back, and I worked out yesterday, and I was like, all right. I'm like, I'm very close. It's like, this is actually like, like I said, Bumpy 47. Holy crap. I look better than I did when I was 10 years younger now. And about 2 years ago, I got really lean, but it wasn't as proportionate. Like I didn't have traps yet as much. My forearms gotten stronger too. And all around, just every single day, just a little bit at least. And now I just have to dial in my self-destructive impulses because I get a lot of stress. And I do take it out of myself, and I am guilty of that, and that's why I know that's a thing. At least it's a thing with this guy, and I know it's a human thing. Oh, for fuck's sake! Oh my god, stop! This isn't gonna help me at all. And then he's gonna get mad at me, right? What am I gonna say to him? Hi, come on. He's gonna be like, "You told me to do this." I was like, "Yeah, well, you showed up early." Do I have to have that conversation? Or I just can hit end. Yeah, exactly. Um, but anyway, get on the Patreon. God damn it, and then go over to the YouTube channel. Okay, why? Because it'll be awesome. You'll be awesome. You'll have some guidance through this, and you'll be able to get help. And yes, I can. I used to cook with olive oil all the time because I'm Italian, and I haven't done it in probably 7 years. And I stopped doing it long before Dr. Glidden. Yeah, long before Dr. Glidden had said about the oils, and I just didn't do it because butter is better. Butter is better. If you're looking for a certain flavor or effect, like that's what sucks because I used to like the. But again, I don't need the bread anymore either. But the Italian bread with the balsamic, a little bit of the basil, and some obviously salt and the extra virgin olive oil. All right, memories. I don't care. Patreon, bam, you see it. Holistic coaching. That guy is me. I should probably update the picture. Maybe I will soon. This is not ice cream. Is actually a video that I shared from somebody else. I thought this would be important for people to watch, but then I watched their hot sauce video and something dawned on me. They were full of shit. So I don't know how much about this is full of shit. And I wouldn't take it all at face value, but a lot of the things that they didn't bring up are like the titanium dioxides and all this other stuff. But yeah, most of these things that say that they're ice cream, they're not. They're frozen dairy products now because there's no cream in it, and they're using a bunch of oils and all this other crap and all these um, texture binding things to keep the stuff together, and that's not wonderful because it's very processed. Even the ones that that made their reputation and name off of being not like that, like not being over processed, are because again, that's you can call it the BlackRock effect or whatever. When they're sold to a bigger corporation, of course, the first thing they do is they lower their standards, lower their quality, and then raise the price or keep the price the same, and just make more money off of the same shit because people already trust it. We talked about this co-opting before. It happens across the board with this type of mentality. And when they were talking about the hot sauce, and they said something about Frank's Red Hot, and then they said Frank's Extra Hot. I'm like, I grew up in Frank's Extra Hot, and I have a little bottle of the Frank's Extra Hot in my house, and I'm like, they're like, oh, but it has extract in it. I'm like, the fuck it does. I've been eating this stuff forever. That's how they made it hotter. It's a complete and total lie. So this guy who's reading these, it's either AI scripts that he's not challenging the details of because I do that. I read them, and if they make no sense, I challenge them. Usually, I pick fights with it. It's basically me just picking fights with it, and then telling them that they're wrong, and seeing how long it takes for them to tell me the truth. He didn't do that though. All you would have to do is look at the bottle, which he had pictures up close of it with the ingredients in it, and nothing at all says a concentrated extract of pepper anywhere. It's aged. Aged means barrel. Aged means vinegar barrel. Boom. That's what that means. Usually through your aging process. That's how they do it with Tabasco peppers. That's how they do it with cayenne. And nowhere on there isn't even like a sorghum or whatever the hell it is, xanthan gum listed on that, if to my knowledge, which it wouldn't matter anyway to me. I don't give a shit. But I just found that really stupid for them to say that as if they were. And then like the rest of the video I couldn't watch because I knew it was like how many other lies are there going to be about sauces that I don't care? And like they were making a big deal about, well, the Texas Pete isn't from Texas. Like, okay, people can call anything they want if it's a marketing scheme, I'm sure. And another one was something similar, and it was another thing about the name. I'm like, So you're nitpicking. How does it taste, and is it shitty? Is it shitty quality? Because a lot of those things are shitty quality. I would have been more caring about that than I would about the other nuances of marketing. You know, I don't look at that stuff when I make a decision anyway. I look at what it's in it and how does it taste. And I'll take a little bit of something that it's not that I don't take larger quantities of because I know that's not good for you. Because I'm also taking the 9 essential nutrients. I got a little resistance to it. Number one, number two, I still want shit to taste good. Otherwise, I'm gonna do worse things later. So that's it. Unless I'm on keto, then I hold tight, hold fast, stay strong, live long and prosper, like he says. But yeah, that was one of the sites. And then one of the videos from yesterday, I popped up on here, and I have more to render and send out, and this will get filled up. But there's also going to be a lot of one-on-one specific things on here that are going to be coming to the person directly when they sign up. Like the first thing is going to be like a discussion, like what is it, your goals, what do you, you know, how do you feel, make yourself a list, that type of stuff, because they have to be willing to be able to, they have to be willing to implement the 90 essential nutrients. Otherwise, I can't do the holistic fitness or coaching for them because they're only going to be as good as their intake of the things that they need. And then slowly, if it's going to be, if it, depending on the person's personality and mentality, slowly back out of the 12 bad foods or quickly. But if you're doing something often all the time and you have a house full of the stuff, it's going to be a lot harder for you to back out of it quickly and just discard everything into a dumpster, right? You're probably going to be like, well, a little bit here, maybe I'll just minimize here. Things you should probably immediately cut out, though, I would say, is sugary drinks. If you have any goals to like make yourself look healthier, at least get rid of all the sugar crap that's excessive or high fructose corn syrup, which is on the 12 bad food list. Okay, all right. Okay. He's like, it's true. I also do all those things. As you direct to him, just answer it and answer his questions for fun. Oh yeah, as you direct him to your Patreon Fitwit account. It's true. Also, I also do all those things. Yeah. I got a massive tan the other day when I was burning all that stupid brush that was on the in the pile. But I was also like soaked. Like I just walked out there and just started doing it. I'm like, I probably should have changed it to like clothes I don't care about as far as my pants, because as soon as I leaned over and like if I like bent down to pick up stuff, like the sweat that was dripping off of me like soaked my. I'm like, God damn it! But yeah, it was. I could only do for a little while, but then again, the ash also filled up in the little dome thing, so you gotta wait for that to cool, and then you can dump it and put it in your garden. Wood ash. If you have wood ash, I don't know about the other like brush and crap like that, like leaves and junk, but if you have wood ash, you're gonna have minerals in there. You can put that in your garden. Add minerals to your soil. Okie dokie. And the plant growing and the microbes in the soil allow the plant to absorb those, and then you're able to absorb them yourself, because it has to go through the process of making it bioavailable in order for it to be absorbable and useful to you in your body. So that don't go start licking pennies thinking that you need copper. That's a bad idea. All right, later. Check out the websites. Become a Dr. Glidden membership, a member, and then I'll see you on the Patreon side later.